So this is a quick follow-up on what I've been doing with the boat. This is a system setting up for the battery system and the power supply system for the boat, primarily the engine and of course house power, but mainly for the engine isolation. Here I have 4 batteries, 2 of them in parallel. They are AMG batteries, class 31. I got 2 look like the lead acid battery starter batteries for the engines, class 27. And of course I got 3 shunts. One shunt, the one with the red wire, is for the house batteries. That's going to monitor that. And 2 shunts there, one for the port, one for the starboard batteries. Of course I'm running it in parallel so I can get more amp hours out of the 12 volt system. And of course I have the cables right here to run the shunts. This is for the house shunt, going from the house parallel to the shunt. This is for the starboard engine going to the shunt, port engine going to the shunt because that's a little bit closer. And these are engine 1, engine 2. This is going from the batteries here, the starter batteries for the engines, and hooking up into this Pro Mariner 2 engines to 4 battery system isolator. So when the engine is running, the alternator can charge the house batteries and the engine batteries. And right next to it is a Lynx distributor, and these cables are going to go from engine 1 to charge engine 2 right here to charge the starboard battery, engine 1 over here which will charge the port engine. And of course once this is in place, this is going to be resting on top of here, and I can do a quick demo on that. Rest that down for a second, set this in place. Like that, and there it goes in here. Of course, off the house battery I have a 450 amp fuse directly attached here. That's going to be running off here another cable. I'm using 4/0 cable, and I'll be connecting here to the underside. I have like a piece under here that I made. If you could look at it, that copper is going down, and there's a attachment there. And of course off the house battery here, from the negative, it'll go and attach. Of course it's going straight to the shunt, and then this one here, this negative here, is going to attach off the fuse box, the bus bar that you all saw down below there, and it's going to come up to here, so everything will be after the shunt. Because the inverter, I'm using Victron inverter, requires 400 amp, I put a 450 here on the battery, and since the shunts can handle up to 500 amps, that should protect it pretty good. I believe. At least that's the idea behind it. But I have a 400 amp fuse going here right here for the Victron inverter. I got a 100 amp fuse going here to the 100 amp DC panel that I will be installing. Here will be another 60 amp or 100 amp. I'm not sure yet. That's going to be going to a separate fuse box for some of the smaller electronics like the horn and things like that. And this one, I don't have a use for it yet, but I'm sure I'll find something for it. I might put a second fuse box somewhere, so we don't have to keep running, tear the boat apart and run new stuff, I'll just have one in place somewhere, like to the bow of the boat or something, where stuff can be attached to later on. Probably do 100 amp or so running off that. I do have a sound system that's going to be installed, so maybe that's what I'll use that for. I'm not sure yet. Anyhow, this is just a quick overview. Parallel batteries in parallel, so I could get 200 amp hours off these batteries, and at 12 volts. The 2 starter batteries, which is for the port and starboard engine. The ProMariner isolator to charge the systems automatically without having to turn switches on and off and all that stuff and then mess up the system if you forget something. This will do it automatically. I do have to make a lead running here, since I'm not using this one, just to fool the system into thinking there's a 4th battery, and it'll just read this one. I saw somebody else do it in Australia, another YouTube video, and I like the idea. Then of course, the links distributor. The shunts are also links. Those are going to be connected to the to a servo, so for reading, so I can read the information, the details anywhere in the world. Still struggling with the internet setup for the Wi-Fi. So hopefully I can resolve that issue, because some things are working and some things are not. Of course, over here, sorry about the mess, but I'm working on this boat and it's taking a lot. The DC power right there, inverter, the DC converter from AC to DC when I'm using shore power, that's also going to be part of the system, but that's running off automatic switch that will be running between the distributor, the links distributor, and the inverter, which is right there. And of course, this little device here I'm going to be running is a DC to DC charger that will be coming off the DC panel that I have when I'm on shore power, to charge the batteries for the starter batteries for the engine, to keep those charged. Because I don't tend to go out a lot. My neighbor, who I'm using his private pair for, he might go out more. So, it may not be necessary, but I'm going to have it there just in case nobody goes anywhere. Everything stays charged and well taken care of. If you have any questions, ask it in the comment section down below. If you have any suggestions, make it in the as well, because I don't want to see stumbling through this. I know there are a lot of guys out there with way more experience than I have. And this is what I came up with, and I wouldn't mind making some improvements while I'm on the ground level. I also included these glands for 4/0 wires to go through. We tighten them up and they become watertight. This one here and this one here, that's the top that's coming off the starter, going back to the isolator right here, the engine 2 and engine 1, so it can charge a battery on the load when the engine is running. And on the side here, that's it for the isolator. Down here is the starter cable to come in to attach directly to the battery to start the engine. I got one on that side and one right there. That's to start the engine. And hopefully everything works smoothly and they're gonna be watertight. So it's been a labor of love, I guess, because I still have to take this stuff apart, where I just drill out these gland holes so I could install, so I can waterproof it, because I just drilled into the wood that I already epoxied. So now I gotta re-epoxy that area to keep it from rotting. Again, if you have any questions, ask it in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe. Again, if you have suggestions, please make them. It will be helpful, so I don't waste time and money doing things that might be unnecessary, and maybe I could add while I'm still building the system. Y'all have a good day.